So I recorded this video back at the beginning of December, and now it's almost the end of January, and I debated for a minute whether to post it or not, but it is a really important topic and no one's really talking about it anymore, so I figured now is a good time as any to bring it back into the spotlight. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I put a survey on Instagram, like I think honestly almost a month ago, and I asked whether people wanted to see like either a video on the Uyghur crisis in China or mental health in the Black community. And on Instagram, people voted for the Uyghur Muslim crisis, and on Facebook, people voted for the mental health in the Black community. So I sort of chose what I was going to talk about based on what was the most important thing going on right now. Not to say that like Black mental health isn't important, obviously it is, but like this is a crisis that like needs as much as attention as it can get as soon as possible. So that's why I decided to do this one. And also I had more voters on Instagram than I did on Facebook, so you know. But anyways, so I was supposed to do this video like a while ago, and it's really late, but you know, like we're almost in finals week, school's like kicking my ass, and with going home for Thanksgiving break and everything, I just did not have the time to record, but here I am. I just want to say, I don't know what dumbass bitch thought it was a good idea for me to go to grad school, but if y'all see her in the streets, let me know, because I got a few things to say to her. When I initially started researching this topic, some of the things that I found out took me by surprise. I'm gonna get into it later on. So I'm just gonna start with the history of Uyghur Muslims in China, and then talk about sort of when this crisis sort of started, and then what is going on in China right now, and also how the world is responding to this cultural genocide. So just a little background. Uyghurs are and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. In a lot of the videos that I watched, that's how they pronounced it, so I'm just going based off of that, but obviously like it could be wrong. I hope I'm not, but yeah. So Uyghurs are a Turkic-speaking minority in the Xinjiang region of China, which used to be East Turkestan, and I think they're actually native to the land, which when you hear about the way they're spoken about in the media, it seems like they're refugees or immigrants to the place and not like natives who have been there for a really long time. And I think that's a part of the erasure and the cultural genocide that's going on. But no, they have a long history there. They used to be known as the Islamic Uyghur Kingdom of East Turkestan until they were invaded by the Manchu Empire in 1876. And it was after an 8-year bloody war that they were annexed by the Manchu Empire and officially became known as Xinjiang, which literally translates to new colony. And then in 1911, Chinese nationalists overthrew the Manchu Empire, and it was at that point that East Turkestan, or Xinjiang as it was known at that point, came under the Chinese government. And since then, the Uyghur community in Xinjiang have pretty much existed in a constant struggle for cultural and religious freedom. Officials have destroyed mosques, claiming that the buildings were unsafe for worshippers, and they've even gone as far as to ban certain names like Muhammad or Medina. So in 2009, there was a riot in Xinjiang's capital as a response to the government-sanctioned migration of Han Chinese and the discrimination against the Uyghur community. Nearly 200 people were killed in that protest. So in response to what is happening right now in China, the Chinese government has detained more than 1 million Muslims in concentration camps that they have dubbed re-education camps. And experts say that this started as far back as like 2014, and it really escalated around 2017, which is weird because this is like 2019 is the first time that like the majority of us are hearing about this. According to government officials, around 800,000 to 2 million Uyghurs and other Muslims have been detained since 2017. And most people in these concentration camps have never been charged or even convicted of anything or any crimes. It seems like their only crime is being Muslim. So because China is a communist country, information on what is going on is very limited. At first they denied that like these camps even existed. Then they started calling them vocation education training programs, which what does that even mean? From what we know, detainees are being forced to pledge allegiance to the Communist Party and renounce Islam. Some have said they were tortured and subjected to sleep deprivation during interrogations. Just a little trigger warning for... So women who have been in these camps have also shared stories of sexual abuse. Some are saying that they've been forced to have abortions and even have contraceptive devices implanted against their will. And there's even reports of like organ harvesting. I'm going to share where I found all this information on in the description box, so you are more than welcome to like read a lot of this for yourself. The Chinese government has basically deemed any expression of Islam as an act of terrorism. For a really long time we had no idea that like this was happening, but now we have some information. So what is the world doing? Well, in one word, nothing. And even worse, some are actually supporting China, and this is the part that like really took me by surprise. So if you saw my Instagram, there was I posted a like a screenshot of a letter written by the Muslim world leaders, in which they basically commended China for its efforts to protect themselves against terrorism. And I saw countries on there that when I tell you this took me by surprise, like I saw Saudi Arabia on there, right? I wasn't surprised by that. I saw Somalia on there, and I saw Bangladesh, and I saw Palestine, and all these other countries. And like as I was reading this, I'm like, is this what the world has come to? We are willing to sacrifice human lives to protect our own self-interest, and what I can only assume is financial interest for these countries. I saw a lot of African countries on that letter. I know that China has hit its hands in Africa right now, which I don't fully understand, but it scares me. How did people get so comfortable with watching other people suffer? Which is an idiotic question to ask in the first place, because we've been comfortable watching each other suffer for all of humanity. But it's just, I guess it just still takes me by surprise every time, and it still disappoints me every time. So I'm also just going to share like other basically the description box is going to be a hotspot for sources, because obviously I couldn't get all of it in. I guess I'll end this with keep spreading this information. If you have the means, urge your like elected officials to like do something. I do want to give a shout out to Turkey, as I think they're the only Muslim majority country that has called out China for their for what they're doing. So the rest of the world, please look at what Turkey is doing and follow their example. And if you live in a country where you can criticize your leaders, do it, call them out. And also like I know that Somalia has a lot of going on, and I'm pretty aware that China has given Somalia money, as China has given everyone in the world money. Also, stop taking money from China. I never know how to end these videos, especially like the harder subject ones. So I think that I'm just gonna end here. Like I said before, everything will be in the description box. I highly encourage all of you to read all of this, as well as some of the videos that I'll be sharing. Watch them, spread this information, and yeah. So bye everyone.